For something special and a little bit of a treat of a midweek meal, I'm going to introduce you to my recipe for Pici, which is a rolled handmade pasta with a brown butter tomato sauce, and it is super simple to do. I was going to get the kids to help me out, but they've gone to the park. It is only a handful of ingredients and it's perfect for summer. We've got tomatoes, we've got basil, we've got garlic, we've got Parmesan, we've got lots of gorgeous things. It's all going to come together pretty quickly, but it starts off by making the pasta dough. And if you have never made pasta before and you feel a little bit nervous, let this be the recipe that changes that. So into a bowl with some tipo 00 flour. To be honest, I've made this before, and you can make this with strong bread flour, but ultimately it's going to be something that comes together quite quickly. So to this, I'm going to make a little well in the center of our bowl, and all I'm going to do is pour in some water and some oil. And really, when it comes to this recipe, it's all about the simplicity. Most homemade pastas tend to be made with egg yolks, but this one is water-based, and as a result, it's incredibly inexpensive to make. I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil to this, and we're going to pour it straight into the well, and slowly but surely combine this with a tiny touch of some sea salt. So just using the back of a spoon, we're going to go straight in there, and we're going to form our dough. It takes a minute or two, but once you've measured your flour and once you've measured your water and combined the two, you get left with something that is instantly, well, almost instantly about usable. All I'm going to do now is use my hands and knead this until it's a rough ball, and then I'm going to leave that to rest in the fridge while I crack on with the sauce. So just knead this until it becomes smooth and pliable, and then it's ready for the fridge. Of course, I've added too much water now. I thought I was doing the right thing, and this is the thing when you're doing like doughs or you're doing any sort of baking, or particularly with icing sugar, I always add too much liquid and then it's really hard to work back from that. But similarly, I've added too much water here, so I'm going to now need more flour. Knead it till it's nice, smooth and elastic. Kate! Kate! Could I have the flour, please?
It's on bookshelf.
Thanks so much. You're so helpful to me today. Okay, a little bit of flour. Give that a knead. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. Should be able to squidge it and it doesn't kind of break up. So that's pretty much where it needs to be. And then straight into a little resealable container, or cover it in cling film. It is totally up to you how you do it, but my kitchen runs on these little resealable containers. And as a result, it means that I'm not wasting anything. So straight in to the fridge. This is going to rest up and we're going to make our sauce. We're going to make up the sauce. Now, as I said, this is all about the simplicity, and if you have good, gorgeous tomatoes, particularly in the height of summer, this is your moment to allow them to shine. So I have some beautiful cherry tomatoes on the vine. If you are growing tomatoes, this is the recipe for you. But if you're not, and you're buying them from the supermarket, that's okay too. With my tomato selection for this recipe, I always try and get a nice combination of colourful ones. So you can see I've got some lovely kind of sun goldy yellow ones here, and these kind of browner ones, and red ones obviously, but each one has its own kind of particular taste and sweetness, and so having the combination of a number of different ones will be what gives your dish a little bit more interest and intrigue. So this is looking fabulous. All I'm going to do is slice 1 or 2 of these in half and leave the rest whole, and the reason being, the ones in half, or the sliced in half ones, will release their juices a little bit quicker, and so you'll get this sort of sauce that forms, and alongside the butter, alongside the other ingredients we're going to add in, it's going to form this really gorgeous sauce. I have had a little moment for my pasta to rest, and at this point now, we should be in good shape for this to be rolled out. The amazing thing with this amount of pasta dough is that you can actually get quite a lot of pasta from this mixture. So I'm going to take about just a little corner of it, probably about a third of it, and then place the rest back in the fridge to rest while I'm not using it. The beauty of this recipe is that if you have small kids like we do in our house, this is the ideal recipe to get them involved in. So I'm going to kind of slice this third piece into smaller pieces again, and then smaller pieces again. Now these little balls are going to form our Pici pasta, and now if you've never heard of that before, it's a pasta that of course, like many Italian pastas, comes from very different specific regions of Italy. I was in a place called Sant'Angelo e Colle, and in Sant'Angelo e Colle, the nonnas of the region showed me how to make this Pici pasta. We had a feast to prepare, and my favorite highlight moment was when I was taken into this little nonna's house and she showed me how to make Pici pasta. And the beauty of it is just how easy it comes together. So I'm going to take a little bit of flour, not too much, because you do want a little bit of traction. Using your palms, we're just stretching and rolling, stretching and rolling, stretching and rolling. And any bit that looks a little bit longer, you want to stretch it and roll it again. Because we have a little bit of oil in the dough, it tends to kind of not stick too badly, but if you do need a little bit of flour, just have it to hand so you can stretch it out. While this is happening and while I'm making my beautiful Pici pasta, we're going to get the sauce on for our tomatoes. So into our hot pan with a little bit of oil. And I'm just going to pop our tomatoes straight in there. Turn down the heat. Give them a little toss. And while they're frying off, we're just going to feed them with a little bit of salt and a little bit of black pepper. This is the kind of cooking I love, because while the sauce is being made, we're making the pasta. It's all coming together in the kitchen at the same time, and I particularly love those sorts of recipes. If you come in and have a look here, this is probably that's the sort of thinness you're looking for. So I want that to be exactly the same throughout. So I want a little bit of consistency here. And these thick strands of pasta are going to soak up that beautiful tomato sauce, which we're going to make in the pan over there. And once you do have it in shape, that's when you can pop it into a little bit of flour and it'll kind of set it, I suppose. So Pici pasta, you can kind of stretch it. It should have texture, it should be beautiful. And this is exactly where we need to be. So I'm actually going to pop it in a little bit of flour and leave it to rest there. Give our tomatoes a little bit of a toss, and they're starting to soften down almost immediately. So I want to turn that heat right down. We got a pot of boiling water on the go. And now all I'm going to do is continue to rock through our Pici pasta and then bring it all together. I'm just going to add a little knob of butter into our tomato situation. Let that melt down in amongst, so you got buttery tomatoes and good things going on over here. Right, we have beautiful Pici pasta, we have beautiful boiling salted water, so straight into the pot. This will take slightly longer than fresh pasta to cook because obviously it's slightly thicker and it is water-based. But not so long, maybe 5 or 6 minutes in the pan. Meanwhile, let's talk about our tomato sauce, which is slowly but surely coming together. Our tomatoes are kind of reducing down. To our tomatoes, I'm going to add a little bit of garlic. So I've got about a clove and a half of garlic going in here. Give that a smash on the board. And smashing it on the board is probably the easiest and quickest way of getting the skins off the garlic. Controversially, any Italian that I ever cooked with in Italy would say that you need to remove the garlic from the pan, whole clove in the pan, and just kind of infuse the oil with it. But I am a garlic fiend, and so I do like some thinly sliced garlic in with these tomatoes, but it's totally up to you. You want to leave them out? Leave them out. Give your Pici a little bit of a nuzzle and a sort of a bit of an encouragement in the pan. And while that's cooking out, we're going to come back to our pasta, see what's going on over here. We've got beautiful tomatoes, which are starting to kind of reduce down. We've got the garlic in there. To this, I want to grab up a little bit of our pasta cooking water, and this will just help to start form this glorious tomato sauce that comes together really quickly. You could, if you wanted, chili flakes in there. A little pinch of chili flakes is really lovely, but my kids don't like spice as much as it pains my heart to say they are not a spice fan. This is the sort of food that when it comes to summertime, I don't want much fuss. I want something that's easy to bring to the table, that looks impressive, that you've had fun making, and this is a dish that celebrates all of those things. So I'm going to grate up some of my Parmesan Reggiano so it's ready to rock, and at the moment, good things are happening. Tomatoes, pasta, and you can see the Pici has just started to kind of rise to the surface. That's a good sign that it's cooked through. We're going to take some of this beautiful Pici pasta, pop it straight in to that tomato mixture, and allow it to cook out in there. To that pasta, we're going to feed it with a little bit of the Parmesan. We're going to feed it with some of the fresh basil leaves. This is the moment I think everyone panics. You get the pasta into the sauce and everyone's moving really quickly, but I want you to slow down. Allow the pasta to sit, to soak up that flavor, to kind of absorb the tomato sauce. Adding salt, adding black pepper, adding Parmesan cheese, adding a little bit of pasta water if you need to. Like, the thing is, it's a moment where you can choose to get it right. So if you have, like, if you need a little pasta water to kind of bring this together, if you need to kind of scoop up a little bit and make it looser, this is your moment to shine. So cook that out, let that bubble and sizzle, add your cheese, and just start to kind of bring the evolution of this story together. This is where I got very excited about cooking, and this is the moment where I think when you're first coming to cooking, there's a lot of fear that comes that you have to get it right or you might make a mistake, but actually there's a lot of time that you can get it right, and having the trust and the confidence to do so is where really great food comes from. Give that a little toss. Just look at that. Beautiful tomato sauce that I'm hoping I don't get all over my jacket, but now we are in business and we've gorgeous things going on in here. I mean, just look at how beautiful that pasta looks. I'm gonna pop it straight in to serve it up. Trying to be as gentle and as careful as I can with it. Of course, I've got it everywhere, so I'm just gonna do a clean up because that's a mess. I mean, look, I know this is home cooking, but I can't make an absolute complete mess of it. So, little tidy up, a little pretty. And look at that. Oh, I get very excited about Pici because it's such little effort to getting this really spectacular and very impressive looking pasta sauce. All of this action, all of what's going on in the pan, tomatoes, butter, simple ingredients, basil. This is my kind of food. So we're gonna go in there with some olive oil. Last little drizzle of olive oil. This is my favorite beautiful olive oil. This is the good stuff, extra virgin olive oil. On top of that, we're going for some Parmesan cheese. And I have to always finish with a little salt and black pepper. Add a little more fresh basil. Remember, we've stirred through a lot of that basil. It will have softened down. So you want that last little fresh hit with some fresh leaves over the top. Looks a little bit 80s, looks a little bit retro, but I don't care because it's absolutely gorgeous. There you go. Pici pasta with a butter tomato sauce. I hope you give it a go. Now, as beautiful as it looks, I actually forgot to add some mozzarella. And it's lovely just as it is, but a ball of mozzarella nestled into that tomatoey basil-y mixture just sets this apart. This is the highlight of doing YouTube videos, is that you get to sit down and eat at the very end of it. Now, Pici pasta is one of those ones that you kind of have to get your fork and your spoon involved in to get it completely tossed through. But what I love most about this more than anything is just the thickness of those strands. Look at that, beautiful Pici. I feel like there's very few people who eat food on the internet who don't say it's delicious, but genuinely, you can't go wrong with butter, tomatoes, homemade pasta, and mozzarella. This is so good.